Hello there! Today I am here with New York Times best-selling author Adam Silvera. His debut novel is More Happy Than Not, which is fantastic, and I would make a fool out of myself trying to summarize this in front of you. So could you give us the lowdown for those of us who don't know?
Yes, it's a tough one. I guess like the quick elevator pitch is More Happy Than Not is about 16-year-old Aaron Soto, who's grown up in the South Bronx in New York City, and he's considering a memory alteration procedure to forget that he's gay because he thinks leading life as a straight teenager would be way easier.
This is a really interesting concept to me. I think this is probably a way that a lot of teenagers feel.
Right.
What do you think? I mean, where did that inspiration sort of come from to you? Do you think teenagers would do this?
Yeah,
if
I mean,
this was a real thing?
I think so, which is kind of tragic to admit. But the inspiration was I follow a lot of like conversations about nurture versus nature, and there's just very like wide misconception that people choose to be gay. Like you hear so many horror stories where parents are telling their kids, "Well, just stop being gay," like like it's a switch or something. And I was like, okay, like that's kind of like stupid that they think that. The question started like coming to me like, well, what if you could choose your sexuality? Like sexuality is very fluid, but for the most part, me being gay was like very inherent to me. I was like, okay, well, if I can use like some kind of like memory clinic to play around with like someone's like nature, like what would that look like? How could you achieve that? And as for whether or not people would pursue that kind of procedure, I do absolutely think so. Like I think at 16 years old, I would have gone for it. If someone
Exactly. Not because it's a good thing, looking at it from our perspective, but I mean that's just sort of the dark place that a lot of teenagers end up feeling.
Yeah, and like I'm 25 now, and I'm so happy being gay. Like I get to make out with hot guys. I get to like have crushes on Andrew Garfield. It can be very scary, and until you get a little bit older, you don't realize just how much it can get better. And so I think that's the only reason I would probably have like jumped on board with the procedure. I came out when I was like 19, mainly to my family when I was about 20, and it was a very clean coming out. Like I was very lucky, but it's not what I was expecting would have happened at 16.
The journey of coming out to yourself is really a different one.
For sure.
It's something that
you need the acceptance first before expecting the acceptance of everyone else, and that can be very challenging to deal with, on your own like independent level. So yeah, I mean, it pretty much like came from there, and I wanted to write the book that 16-year-old Adam Silvera was scared to see himself as. Like this is a book that explores the kind of difficult trials that I thought I was going to have if I came out at 16.
What sparked your motivation to write a novel then?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been writing. Like big fan fiction writer. I did a lot like Harry Potter, Charmed, Supernatural. Like that was my thing. I had like multiple accounts. I even so many accounts and so many fake email addresses that like I now can't get back into my accounts, and a lot of my fan fiction is still floating up there. Like I have Harry Potter Cedric Diggory / fiction just out there in the world.
Man, I know that problem. I have a video from freshman biology that has like my full name attached to it.
Oh my god.
So when you Google me and look far enough, you can find like this embarrassing mitosis video.
And now you just outed yourself too.
I know.
No
I'm
one
okay
knew.
with it. Look for it. So with this being your first novel, how long did it take you to write it? And what was a normal day of writing? Was there a normal day, or did it happen over a long period of time?
Yeah, I mean, so I drafted it in 2 months. It was like a 95,000 word long manuscript, and I would say I probably like by the time I like fully edited it.
So you were writing every day.
I was writing every day, and
This is like a double NaNoWriMo.
Yeah, this was. I had. It is actually. I had days where it was just like I would write 1,000 words. I would. I kind of like built up the word count. Like I would shoot for 800, then eventually I graduated to 1,000. Then eventually I was 1,000 didn't feel like enough, so I was writing 1,400, then 2,000, and the last final days of the novel, I'd say like the last 2 days, I wrote maybe 7,000-8,000 words each day, and which was just insane. But I mean, I was just so excited, and but that novel does not exist on the bookshelves right now. Like, I mean, I really do think I only kept 10% of that original draft, and I just constantly rewrote it. I mean, characters who were alive then are dead now in the book. Characters who had little brothers are now, that little brother is gone forever. It's just completely different, and the set of friends that Aaron surrounds himself with, they didn't exist yet, and it's now so weird to even like picture this book without them. I've been learning, like I'm working on books 2 and 3 right now, and it's been a different process for each book. Like I don't have a normal writing day, and I'm not sure I ever will, and I'm also kind of okay with that. Like I like that every book is going to have been a different process, and because the beautiful thing about writing is that there's no one right way to do it, and you can kind of pull from different advantages from like trying out new things.
In that first draft, did you know the day before you were writing what you were going to write? I mean, was it all plotted out?
What I would do for More Happy Than Not was I have a notebook for like each book, and so with More Happy Than Not there was like this cool like Epic Reads notebook that I got at this party, and I knew how I wanted the first chapter to go, so I wrote that first chapter. But while I was writing the first chapter, I was figuring out what chapter 2 and 3 was going to be. So when I'm writing chapters 2 and 3, I'm figuring out 4 and 5 and 6, and you know, you start figuring out more and more who everyone is, and it was just that crawl really worked for me instead of. But then the second book I wrote, I outlined the entire thing from start to finish, and then wrote the book.
And now that it's a book, and you know, it's been out for a few months, it's a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
What's the best part about your job?
I mean, that book is especially like very special to me. Like it's probably going to be my favorite book, and like that I write. Not that
This is a book that could hit home for a lot of people. So have you gotten those reactions from people?
I had emails that I wasn't
letters?
expecting, and like you know.
Of course.
One of my favorite moments recently was a girl who, I'm Puerto Rican and she's Puerto Rican, and she had just kissed her first girl the first time, like the day before we met or whatever. She's like, I kissed a girl for the first time yesterday. I was just like, what a moment, man, to like actually like be able to experience that with her and celebrate with her, and she was like so into it, and you know, just like tons of like wonderful emails from, you know, people who were like, oh my god, you get it, like you get it, and it was a hard sale for a lot of people. This book got rejected pretty widely, and like and the ones who didn't want to offer on it wanted to make substantial changes. They wanted to make Aaron straight, the narrator straight. They wanted to make him white and not Puerto Rican, and like and you know, so I was saying with my editor Daniel Ehrenhalf, like he respected the material 100%. Like he did not want to scrub away any of the essence that I had within the book. He just wanted to enhance it. So I've been very lucky in that realm.
Yeah, and just, I mean, by being there and being the author who understands and writes this story that a lot of people can relate to and see their own lives in, I mean, it's a great feeling.
It's crazy. I would have never have expected to hit home for people like that. Yeah.
We are giving away a signed copy of More Happy Than Not. Information for the giveaway is in the description. Thank you so much for being here. Please pick up More Happy Than Not. This is an insanely amazing book.
Thank you.
I have a book review out of it. Thanks for watching. I'm Tiernan.
Adam, hey.
And I'll see you guys very soon.